Hi everyone, welcome to my channel.
Hi students, today's class is about how to make chemical equation more informative of chapter 2. The previous class we studied about what is chemical equation. So how do we balance a chemical equation with examples. So now in the session let us study how do we make chemical equation more informative. So chemical equation can be made more informative by following characteristics of the reactants and products. So by following characteristics of reactants and products. So those characteristics are: first, physical states; second, heat change, that is heat change of two types, exothermic and endothermic. Endothermic changes. Third characteristic, gas evolved. Fourth one, precipitate formed. So what is precipitate? So precipitate is nothing but an insoluble substance which is formed as product, okay, after a chemical reaction is called precipitate. So to make chemical equation more informative, the physical states of substances mentioned along with their chemical formula. The different states are gaseous, liquids and solids, are represented by notation. If it is a gas, it is represented by notation small g. If it is a liquid, represented by notation L. If it is a solid, it is represented by notation S respectively. Okay, if a substance is aqueous, it is represented as AQ. So what is aqueous substance? The substance, okay, what is aqueous substance? Aqueous substance is the one, okay, if the substance present, any substance is present as a solution in water. If any substance is present as a solution in water is called aqueous solution. Let us represent with an example. Fe2O3 plus 2Al gives rise to 2Fe plus Al2O3. It is balanced chemical equation. Here this delta symbol indicates heating. So Fe2O3, it is a solid substance, so we should represent as S. Aluminium is an element, it is solid, represented as S. Iron is a solid, represented as S. Okay, aluminium trioxide is also a solid, it is represented as S. So if it is a solid, we should represent it by letter S. If it is liquid, by L. If it is gas, by G. And if it is aqueous substance, we should represent it by AQ. So one more example, Zn plus 2HCl gives rise to ZnCl2 plus H2. So zinc is an element which is solid in nature. Hydrogen chloride, it is aqueous. Zinc chloride is an aqueous. Hydrogen gas represented by G. Hope you have understood this. Now the second one, expression the heat change. So heat change is expressed with Q. If heat is liberated in a reaction, we call it as exothermic reaction. Okay, if heat is absorbed, we call it as endothermic reaction. So in a chemical reaction, if there is a release of heat, exothermic; absorption of heat, endothermic. Example, C plus O2 gives rise to CO2 plus Q. So here plus Q indicates on the product side for exothermic. Another example, N2 plus O2 gives rise to 2NO minus Q. Minus Q indicates it is an endothermic reaction. Now, how do we express gas evolved during a chemical change? So, gas evolved in a reaction, it is represented by upward arrow mark. For example, Zn plus H2SO4 gives rise to ZnSO4 plus H2. So, zinc is solid, sulfuric acid is aqueous, zinc sulfate is aqueous, and here a gas called H2 is liberated. So, it is represented by upward arrow mark. So, it is important. So, what is the question could be asked? How do we represent the gas evolved in a chemical reaction? So, gas evolved in a chemical reaction is represented by upward arrow mark. Now, the next one, expressing precipitate formed. If a precipitate is formed in the reaction, it is denoted by downward arrow mark. During a chemical reaction, if there is a formation of any precipitate as a product, given as downward arrow mark. For example, AgNO3, which is an aqueous substance, when it is made to react with the sodium chloride, it gives you silver chloride plus sodium nitrate, NaNO3, which is aqueous. Okay, so here silver chloride is a precipitate. It is represented along with the formula with a downward arrow mark. So if there is a precipitate is formed in the reaction, it is denoted by downward arrow mark. Now the number 5, expressing the reaction condition. Sometimes the reaction conditions such as temperature, pressure and catalyst are indicated above and below the arrow mark. For example, 6CO2 plus 12H2O. This is an equation of photosynthesis, and okay, it gives you C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. This is an equation, and this photosynthesis equation takes place in certain reaction conditions like sunlight and chlorophyll. So this is represented as above and below the arrow mark. 2AgCl gives rise to 2Ag plus Cl. It occurs in presence of sunlight. Okay, so this is a reaction condition. So reaction condition, it is represented above and below the arrow mark. Now our next topic is, what do we interpret from a balanced chemical equation? It's one of the very important question for 4 marks, will be asked in the examinations. Balanced chemical equation. So from the first information that we get, it gives you information about reactants and products. So what are the reactants and products that are involved in a chemical reaction can be known with the help of a balanced chemical equation. So it gives information about reactants and products. The second most point that we can know is, it gives information about ratios. It gives information about the ratios of molecules of reactants and products. Okay, this is the second point. Hope it is very clear. The first point is, it gives information about reactants and products. Second, it gives information about the ratio of reactants and products, number of molecules of ratio of reactants and products. The third point is, as molecular masses we express in the form of what? U. So U is called what? Unified mass. U is called unified mass. Molecular masses are expressed with unified mass. So what we can know? The relative masses of reactants and products are known from the equation. We can know, okay, we can know relative masses of reactants and products. This is the third point. Now the fourth point is, if masses are expressed in grams, okay, if in a chemical equation, if masses are expressed in grams, then the equation also gives, if masses of substance, if masses are expressed in grams, So then the equation also gives the molar ratio of reactants and products. This is the fourth point that you have to understand. Hope the fourth point is clear. Now the next point, in a chemical equation, if any gases are involved in a chemical reaction, we can equate their masses to their volume, and we can calculate the volume of those gases which are liberated at STP. So any gas at STP occupies 22.4 liters of volume. That is, for example, if oxygen is liberated, so its molar mass is equal to 22.4 liters. That is, 32 grams of oxygen occupies 22.4 liters of volume. Okay. If we say carbon dioxide, if we say a gas called carbon dioxide is liberated, its molar mass, okay, 12 plus 32, 44 grams is equal to 22.4 liters of volume. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the masses of a gas which are involved in a chemical reaction. So by using molar mass and Avogadro number, we can calculate the number of molecules and atoms of different substances from the equation by using molar mass and Avogadro number. So Avogadro number is nothing but a number, it's a unit which is equal to 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 molecules. So if you have understood this chapter, please do like it, share it and subscribe it.